Hi, my name is Leanne. I have a hair salon that is located inside a retirement home, and I have the pleasure of getting to know and meet new people all the time that come to see me to get their hair done. I'm sitting here with Bill Gowans, who has lived in this building for approximately 3 years.
Yeah,
Bill,
yeah.
say hello.
Say hello.
How you doing today, Bill?
Not too bad.
Not too bad, eh? Um, Tell me a little bit about yourself. Right now. Tell me about yourself right now. Tell me how old you are.
94.
You're just a baby.
You want to believe it?
Tell
Yeah.
me tell me a little bit about your life growing up.
Oh, well, I moved here when I was 10 years old.
From where?
Well, from all over the place because I was uh, a child of the oh, what do you call it?
Did your was your dad in the war? Did
Well, yeah, but it was brought up during the Depression,
Okay.
and I was a child of the Depression,
Okay.
and uh, my dad was a cake baker, and I think he had a short temper.
Did he?
So we moved around to various places, Hamilton, Windsor, Gravenhurst, Timmins,
Well, you
all over the place. I think I received my public school education in 7 different cities.
well,
That's a fact, and
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's that's a lot of traveling around. Did you what do you remember about the depression?
I remember we always ate well because my dad was a cake baker, and we got day old bread if we were hungry, and then my mother used to feed it to the people that were starving to death around the city,
Yeah.
and on the neighbors. People, I lived in Sudbury, I think 3 times. We lived in various places in Sudbury, and I recall they always come to our place because there must have been some mark or something on the sidewalk or something, and any anyhow, my mother had given them either a jam sandwich with no butter or
Oh,
a butter sandwich with no
with no jam? Oh,
jam. It was funny,
what
and it wasn't so funny for them, but they always got at least a sandwich out of our house.
yeah, well that's really nice. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have, well, I have 5 in my family, and one brother, two, yeah, two children are passed away.
Yeah.
One brother died at 55 the day he was supposed to retire. That's
Oh
from
my.
algoma steel.
Yeah.
Can you believe
Wow.
that? He,
Wow.
he passed away at work.
Really?
Oh my, that was a terrible,
Yeah.
terrible thing. And my other sister died about a year ago. She
Yeah.
was 92.
92, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
So you grew up with a few siblings, so going through the depression, there was
No, we were fine. We always had something to eat. A funny thing. We're talking about this. I don't ever remember being hungry
right.
during the depression, but obviously I was hungry, but I don't ever remember. But we moved here in 1950.
Well, okay. Your whole family?
Yeah, yeah, and we stayed here ever since.
You stayed here ever since. So 1950 you moved here. Were you still in school?
Oh yeah, I was in grade 8.
Grade 8.
Yeah, I was born in 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 30. It was 40. Yeah, 40 in 19. Yeah,
Yeah,
I went to public high school here.
you went to high school here?
Yeah,
And then when you finished high
well, I
school,
didn't finish high school. I
okay,
had to go to work
where did
because my dad was not well, and unfortunately, some of us had to go to work.
right, right. So where did you go to work?
Well, I worked at the Chrome plant.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I'm gonna say no, I don't remember it, but I've heard about it.
It was badly maligned, but it wasn't a bad place to work. And I worked around various places around, and I ended up at Algoma Steel.
You did, eh? And that's where
Hmm.
you, what did
Yeah,
you do? What
I
did you,
was an instrument mechanic there.
so that was a good job for you.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I never got laid off in all the time I was working, and yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting, eh? So how long did you work before you met your wife?
3 or 4 years,
3 or 4 years, and
5 years. Yeah, she was a nurse. Just graduated, and we raised 6 children.
you raised 6 children. Where did you meet your wife?
Well, just around. I don't
Just
know.
around,
No,
just a,
no, no place in particular.
no place in.
Yeah, I knew. I chummed around with people, and she was one of them.
So she was in one of the circles that, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
That's
Yeah,
that's nice, Bill.
yeah.
So,
But she was a member of Beta Sigma Phi.
oh, well, she was she?
Yeah, yeah, and actually, I'm looking at a fellow out here whose wife was a member of Beta Sigma Phi, and he's not all that well,
No, no.
and but his wife, I knew his wife. I met her about 3 or 4 years ago, and I hadn't seen her for 40 years.
Yeah, and
Uh,
she lives here?
no, no, she passed away, and
Oh,
then
okay.
he came here, but he'll be. I don't think he'll be long here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's
Well,
gonna move.
you think he's going to move?
Yeah, I think he's has a problem.
Okay. Well, that does happen in life, right? Tell
Well,
me,
that's one of the problems
yeah.
with a place like this is an in-term place. You stay here for a while, but uh, there's not too many of us die here.
Well, but think about all the good memories you have here. Think about all the people you've met here, right?
I've met lots of people
And you
here.
probably knew a lot of people too.
I've met yes, yes. I've met many people here. Some I knew, some I met here and become bit friends with. But
Yeah, yeah.
I I'm not real friendly
Oh,
person
you're a very
anyway.
friendly person. You bring me treats every day, Bill. You bring me treats every day.
Yeah, I know, but it's
I have to say, though, I'm going to say this, that I cut your hair years ago when I worked in the mall. Do you remember that?
yes, I remember that.
And then we've come full circle and I'm cutting your hair again.
Here we
That's
are.
kind of so, Bill. Um, tell me about you and your wife. Tell me about some of your journeys and your trips that you've taken.
Oh, we've taken a few trips. We've been to Florida lots of times, and The thing, I've been to Florida several times, and but and on the East Coast, but the problem with going down there is I enjoy staying there until
Right.
it gets too hot,
Right.
and then it gets too hot, and I want to come home.
Yeah. Then you want to come home to all this snow,
Yeah,
right?
well, I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, because
I
we're
don't
used
mind,
to
but
it.
see, I always had a good time in the winter. I
Yeah.
was an ice fisherman,
Oh, I
and I fished all winter for
did you?
years.
For you, what kind? So, what kind of fish were you catching?
What's that?
What kind of fish were you catching?
Well, trout,
Trout, eh?
but mostly trout.
No, that's good. That's really good. So, you lived here with your wife up until recently, right?
Right, right.
And
And I think she required a little more care. So we reluctantly, with the family, we put her into the Davy home, and she's fine there. And,
she's fine there. But how many years are you married?
65,
Yeah,
66, something like that.
that's a pretty good number.
uh,
So how are you managing here now on your own with your wife being in a
no, I, if I didn't say I missed her, I'd be lying
yeah, for
because I
sure.
do miss her.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
should. You
yeah.
should
Well,
miss her.
certainly I miss her, and it's there's a world of difference between someone passing away and going to some great beyond,
Right.
or putting them in another place like the Davy home.
Yeah, like
And I sometimes wonder whether it's the correct thing to do or
well,
not.
we all
I'll be honest with you,
yeah.
just to be honest with you. It's
Well, yeah, I guess I can understand, but I've not been there, but I do respect what you're feeling.
well, there's nothing wrong with that place.
Right.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Right, because they give her the best care that she
Well,
needs.
certainly, and I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's whether you want to. You always feel a little guilty about it.
Right. Right.
So
But
anyway, that's
I think you're doing the best you can do. I actually think you're doing really well. That's my opinion.
yeah.
Just
Well,
getting to know you from in here, and I get to see you pass by the door every day, and you always seem happy to me, Bill.
well
You seem happy. I mean, you always
I try.
you do good.
Yeah.
So, Bill, if you could tell a younger version of yourself anything, what would you tell that younger version?
I don't know. No, I think uh, the only thing I can say is just be careful with your mouth because uh, anything that you put out of your mouth you can't take back.
Yeah, that's right. That's a hundred
You
percent right.
can you can't take it back, and this is something that most of us don't realize until you put something out and there it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. I think you should tell me about your kids.
Oh, my kids. Oh, well, my oldest one was Tim, and he's fine. He's retired from the city. He was some sort of a manager here, a project manager or something. he bought all the stuff for the city.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, so he's retired. And the second one was Greg. He was very, very successful working for. He worked in Ontario for a bit, and then he went to the States. And uh, we had a house in Texas and another cottage in Cape Cod.
Oh, nice.
And
Beautiful.
oh yeah, and anyway, he got melanoma,
Oh,
and he passed away in I think it was about a year and a month or a year and 2 months.
yeah, I'm sorry
It
about
was a
that.
very, very sad thing.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Yeah, and then the third one, David, he's working down east, and he was working for a company, and the company decided to fold to go somewhere else, and all the rest of it. He's working for anyway. He's still working, and he's doing all right. And then the fourth one is out in Vancouver, and he rides a motorcycle
Oh,
and has a fairly good time, and he's upbeat.
is he?
Oh yeah,
How do you feel about him riding a motorcycle?
I couldn't care less.
So you're okay with it then?
Well, what are you going to do?
I know.
Yeah,
There's
if he wants to ride a motorcycle, there's nothing I can do
That's
about it,
right. That's
and
right.
that's what he wants to do.
That's what he.
And but he's got a big bike. Well, actually, he has about 3 or 4 bikes at the present time.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, but he's actually rebuilding another Harley. He likes Harleys, but he has a big Harley, massive thing,
Yeah.
900 pounds or something.
That's
It's a big
it's
bike, and he's still going. He went to Fergus,
okay.
I think Fergus,
Sturgis?
Sturgis,
Yeah.
Sturgis, yeah, last year,
Yeah.
and this type of thing. So he likes
He likes
the
that.
biking
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling, but he does well. He's working for a company, and he's a some sort of a project manager, and he does well by them.
Good. And you have how many daughters?
Oh, I got 2 daughters. I got one that is is retired from the government,
Yeah.
from the federal government. He's what the anyway, she's in communications,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
she does very, very well. And at the present time, she's working for as consultant,
Yeah.
but she
That's
gets
great.
all the work. But she's quit that this year. She worked for them for a couple or 3 years, and she got some job working for people that look after the black boxes that they have in airplanes.
Oh,
So this is
interesting.
brand new. An American company bought this Canadian company out because they had a patent for certain things. So I don't know what she's doing with this black box. And she's only been there for
Yeah.
a month or so.
That's
But she's and then my youngest daughter is working for the lottery
right.
corporation here.
Right. Right. You you have raised some successful children. You should be proud of yourself for that, Bill.
Well, I have to say something. It's my wife.
Yeah, it's your wife, but there's a partnership there, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I made the money, and she looked after things.
She looked after things, yeah. But that's the way it was, though, right?
Well, that, all my all my life, um, we only had one bank account. We, no two bank accounts. We
Yeah,
had one bank account, and I put the money in, and we both took it out,
yeah,
and she didn't. I guess. Well, I guess the bottom line of the whole thing was we're very conservative, and I mean conservative, a small C conservative, and we don't buy what we can't afford.
yeah,
And if we bought it, then we can afford it, and
yeah,
that was the way it was. And the same thing with everything we did.
yeah.
So,
But you've done well. You've done
oh
well.
yeah, we did well.
So, do you have any advice for this younger generation coming up that you think that
No,
they could use like a little bit of help with?
no, hmm, I I have a little bit of advice for younger generation is don't get it, don't run your finances up with something you can't afford. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just I've never in the only mortgage or anything I ever had in my whole life was my house mortgage. I
yes.
never had another mortgage,
So
and
you,
I bought what I could afford.
right.
And we went to Florida. We had lots of good times,
Yeah,
but I was able to afford those good
yeah,
times. And I would say, and I know this is not reasonable any longer or something, but I think anybody that runs himself up into debt is crazy.
yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
It's a bit of a struggle for them for sure.
Well, they do that, yeah. But the thing about it is, I'm not talking about people that have bad, poor circumstances for some reason or
Right.
other. I'm talking about the average person that has an income of whatever $60,000 a year or something like that, and they have to live on $70,000 a
Yeah,
year. It doesn't. I don't buy that.
yeah, yeah.
You got 60,000. You live on 55, and you
There,
save five.
there you go. So is that what
My philosophy is yes.
your
You live
philo-
on what you can afford.
your philosophy? And did you learn that growing up in your family in the
Oh well,
depression?
certainly I learned that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
you carried that with you, which is, it's a good philosophy.
Well, I'll tell you, you learn that when you're growing up because that was the way it was in those days.
Yeah,
You couldn't afford anything that you couldn't pay for.
yeah, yeah. So it stuck with you. That's good. Did
All
your
my family's about the same. I think most of my brothers and sisters were exactly the same.
yeah, so you had some values instilled in you
Oh
that way,
yeah,
which
well
that's great.
certainly they
That's
were.
great. So Bill, thank you for taking the time to do this with me today.
Oh, well, thank you very much for inviting me. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, and I just want to give you a big hug from behind. And I want to thank you for everything, and I want to thank you for always bringing me treats every day. And I want you to know that I appreciate you.
Okay, and I appreciate you because I'll tell you I enjoy the smiles I get when I go by here.
Yeah,
Anyhow, you're
that's
gonna click this thing off. There we go.